Welcome to Wednesday Night Live from the Basement. Here's your hosts, Rob, Daryl, and Joe.
Hello, Internet. It's Wednesday evening. I'm Rob. That's Joe. That's Daryl. And our special guest, Richard. How you doing, gentlemen?
Good. You?
Living the dream. Living the dream.
Yeah. He asks knowing the answer because we just talked for 5 minutes beforehand. But still, you know, that's right.
I was telling the fellas my unbridled enthusiasm comes from the fact that I have business travel tomorrow. And I hate business travel. And it just, after 20 years of this, it still sucks. So, and there's Chris Mann. How you doing?
Christopher Mann. That boy is excited to come to Canada, hey? Holy.
I know, he's been saying.
That's awesome, though. That's good. Now he knows where I live, actually. He's been watching videos about Saskatoon for the last month instead of Regina. But it's close.
You've got a stalker now.
That's all right. That's okay. I'll put up with him. He's a good dude. We'll take him.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. What's happening? Anything exciting? Anything new?
Nope.
No.
No.
We're all cold. We're all snowy. Do you have snow in Colorado, Richard?
Yes, we got our first decent snow overnight and all day today. But I mean, only added up to about 6 inches, but still, it's snow.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all you need.
It wasn't an avalanche.
Hey, Devin, how you doing? Ryan, welcome.
You have a good football team this year, though, don't you? I think, right? For all the shit your baseball team pulled off, you think you've got a good football team. No idea, don't care.
I don't. Yeah, that both on both counts. Don't know.
Okay.
Don't care. I'm like, oh, Broncos are in town. That's nice. You know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I got nothing. The well's dried it at. I'm like, I don't know what to talk about.
Well, you got a few things because you were going to come on with us on Sunday, and then Chris realized, oh shit, I know
Chris was a terrible host, and I had to voluntarily leave the live stream so he could get back on, and then I had to cry on someone's shoulder all afternoon because I felt like the cool kids didn't want to play with me anymore. I was just devastated.
He was the ghost host.
Right?
But the ghost host. We haven't talked. Well, we have, but we haven't really talked like this. Your record store day, you got the 2 that you wanted, I think.
Yes, so there was 2 that I wanted and 2 others that if I find them, great. If I don't, whatever.
Sure.
So the one, and I didn't bother pulling them, they're over there. The one was Blue Rodeo's Song Seldom Heard, which is a compilation. I'm a completist, so I got it, but is it worth having? Not really, because there's nothing new on there, and there's only 2 songs that have never been on vinyl before. So, but I bought it because I'm a completist. But here's the weird thing about that is it was a Black Friday Canada, Record Store Day Black Friday, Record Store Day Canada Black Friday release. There we go. I got it out on the.
Oh boy, good.
But the odd thing about it is it was also available on Warner Music Canada's website.
Yeah.
So I ordered it off Warner's website the week before Black Friday Record Store Day, and I got it before Black Friday Record Store Day.
Oh, wow.
Which was weird. Like they only made 1,000 copies. So why were some of them on the Warner store? No idea, but I got it. It's fine. Cool. And then the other thing was the band Jericho was their album After Robbie Robertson on vinyl for the first time. I got that, did not buy it at a record store day, and guilty as charged. I eBayed it, but I eBayed it at a pretty good price because it's half of what it's being eBayed for right now, and none of my locals have it and didn't have it at all to begin with anyway. So glad that I got that. The other 2 things, if I stumble across them in the future, there's a Fleetwood Mac live album. Cool, if I can find that. And then there's the Tom Petty Live Anthology Volume 1. If I find that, cool. But I didn't do the record store day thing, though, because I was just. What about you guys? Daryl obviously didn't get anything because there's no record store day.
I was looking at some stuff because I was able to do it, obviously, once it went online on Saturday. But
right.
I just shopped at 3 places, ordered some stuff for not necessarily record store day stuff, but then I get a freaking email back saying, due to your location, we're not shipping to you, blah, 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 all that bullshit. So I thought about it for a second. I went, I just spent $150 on product from you, and you're not going to ship it to me because it's $30 shipping.
Ridiculous.
You're taking, I don't know. I mean, maybe you have more insight on that, Joe, because you do deal with the shipping and stuff like that. But I just, for me, it's like you just made $120 profit. I don't get it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you know, I mean, for us, we don't do much. I know I've done a little bit for you guys, you know, but as far as on a regular basis, we don't. So, but I mean, again, I know what is kind of the wholesale price in Canada, and I see what some are selling it for. And yeah, there's a cost for sure, but if you spend enough, it's worth it. And it's like anywhere, because it's odd, but, and so let me know what you're looking for, because I don't know which ones you were. There are some that I can get now that it's over with. I can get a few. So
yeah, no, this actually wasn't a record store day one. I was looking for some used stuff, and I found some really good deals on it, and just, I don't know.
If that ever happens again, Daryl, I mean, I'll give you my address. Just ship it to my house, and I'll find a way to get it up to you.
Yeah,
and fair enough.
And used
on a weird note, I was looking for a specific record, and then I had to cancel my order because my wife was like, she gave me this look when she found out that I bought it, and I was like, "What?" And she's like, "I got that for you for Christmas."
No,
we're not supposed to be.
So I know what the record is from her that I'm getting for Christmas, but she got me a second one that I don't know. And to top it all off, this is going to make everyone's day. Indigo had a good deal, and I bought Nickelback's Greatest Hits Volume 1.
Oh, Chris Mann just blew his load there.
That's right. The place that we buy our albums from, I don't know if they've always done it or not, but they started selling some T-shirts. I was going to get you a new Nickelback shirt, but they were out already. So, I mean, it doesn't mean I can't still go and find you one somewhere, but I honestly was going to get you one and send it up. So, and you know what? On the used stuff, you make more profit on used than you'll ever make on new as well, if you're doing it right anyway. So that's more bullshit that they didn't send it. But Richard, you found a few. I think you said, I can't even remember what titles you said on Sunday when we talked.
I did. I kind of limited myself because I was just budgeting. I had a really crazy financial month in November. But I found the live Van Halen album, which is really, really, really good. And the live In Excess album, which is really, really, really kind of yeah, it sounds really compressed to me. But I mean, the songs are good. The track list is phenomenal. It just sounds kind of flat. So that's sad.
Royal Albert Hall or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it was Royal Albert Hall, like 85, something like that. Yeah. So then there were some other things I wanted to pick up, but it's just like, yeah, I'm not paying that much for that thing. One of which I found online for half the price that the record store had it for. And I'm just like, where are you getting your price scheme from? It's bizarre. So, yeah.
Cool. The closest that I came, Joe and I were wandering through the mall, and there was a place that sells records in the mall. So I kind of wanted to see what they had and what they were doing. They had a copy of the Boxes Greatest Hits, which is a Canadian band. I'm not sure. I know that there's some but anyway, I paid less. I paid about half of what I would pay retail for it. It was a Record Store Day 2024, and it was 75% off. So I just had to, and then I walked out in shame with my Sunrise bag. So, but I like I said, I couldn't have bought that for myself wholesale for what I paid for it. And it's pretty good, actually. I listened to it the other day. But yeah, record store, I guess we're done now. Now it's time to just buy stuff for people, for our family and our friends and stuff for Christmas. But yeah, that was Record Store Day. I think the general consensus is people just don't know what the hell to think about it anymore, right? I guess I think is what it is, but I don't know.
I got a really cool advent calendar thing from my wife this year. She bought it. It's 24 days of candies from around the world. And the first one I opened up were these pomegranate jelly candies from Greece. They were amazing. So yeah, it's 24 days of candy. You guys still do advent calendars at all just for fun?
I'm drinking the advent calendar tea of the day that came out of the advent calendar, actually. Yes. So I've got tea every day for the next 24 days. So it's good. It's honey and black tea. It's pretty good.
I have the advent water from my fridge. It's a different cup of water every day.
There you go. Yeah.
I've seen some really bizarre. I've seen some bizarre advent calendars, and the beer ones always fascinate me, but they're usually loaded with beer I don't want, so I don't buy them.
I was out shopping a little bit today, and we were at a place. They had a Lindt advent calendar that was probably 4 or 5 feet tall. So each of the Lindt chocolate bears inside would have been about this tall, and I know you can't really tell, about as big as my head. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It was $200, but it'd be a pretty sweet advent calendar for those of us that have nothing but money to spend and can spend $200 on a chocolate bear advent calendar from Lindt. But anyway, and it's good. It's like I said, it's a honey black tea. It's pretty good.
We'll get into our topic for tonight because I get kind of a hard cutoff at 10 tonight because I got a few things to do to get ready for the trip tomorrow. So it's not build a band, but it's we pick 4, I guess, is what you guys came up with, and it's we're gonna pick 4 guitarists, 4 bass players, 4 drummers, and 4 other musical type people. And, be it our favorites, whatever criteria you decide that. You don't necessarily, have to play in a band together and you're not really making a super group or whatever. You're just kind of picking 4 of your favorites of those categories, I think is kind of the gist of it. So to that end, what we're going to do is we're going to all do a guitar player. Then we're all going to do a bass player. And then we're all going to do a drummer. Then we're all going to do a miscellaneous. And then we'll go around again. So Richard, being our guest, is up first. Hit and lead off.
So guitarist first, correct?
Guitarist first.
Got it. All right. I'm just going to go with the first one that I pulled out of my crate just now. So this is one of those guitarists that you either know he's a virtuoso guitarist and part of a influential band, or you don't. And it's Steve Lukather of Toto.
Yep.
And I love Toto. As far as a lot of people could think, oh, they're kind of lame, they're kind of, VH1 type, middle of the road music, but a lot of their stuff is very proggy, very precision playing, because this is a fantastic band and they do fantastic music. So yeah, Steve Lukather with Toto. This is the Hydra album. One of my first Toto albums I ever bought, and it's still my favorite. It has that nice proggy element to it. So yeah, Steve Lukather of Toto.
He doesn't get enough recognition for all of the wicked amount of session work he's done.
Yeah.
100%.
People would be surprised how many albums he's on, and you don't know that he's on the album.
Exactly.
And that's going to be a recurring theme.
Yeah. Good job.
That's great. Okay. Daryl, Joe, which one do you want to go next?
Go ahead, Daryl.
Well, I think in this case, this might be one of the most recognized guitarists of all time. And I don't know if Tim is in the comments tonight, but I know that Tim managed to get an autograph by this guy because the other members of the bands are assholes. That was Joe Walsh. I had to go with that. So I went with Joe Walsh. This is a solo album. This is the one with Rocky Mountain
Way
on it. Yeah, Rocky Mountain Way, which is a great song. So yeah, I mean, what can I say about Joe Walsh that hasn't already been said? And the history books and all that kind of stuff. I mean, he's fantastic. I actually got this out of like not a dollar bin, but maybe like a $5 bin. The solo album. So it's great stuff. And I'll be talking about the band that he's with, not the James Gang. You can talk about them, but I'll be talking about somebody else in a similar band. So yeah, Joe Walsh. I mean, he's just classic. And there was a guy that I used to. One of the guys that was in the band that I used to play with. He was a Joe Walsh. Like Joe Walsh was his god. Love Joe Walsh. So yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a lot I can say about Joe Walsh that hasn't been said over the years. He's a fantastic guitarist.
There's more going to be said in about 2 minutes. So,
well, you go. Just expand. Go ahead.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had to go with Joe Walsh too. Joe Walsh is my guitar hero. Always been my favorite guitar player. The reason I have a couple Stratocasters, not that that's his only guitar, but he does play some Strats from time to time. I went with the James Gang, Thirds. This is the album that has Walk Away on it, which is my favorite James Gang song. The other one you'd probably know is Funk 49. Love him. He's number one, he's lucky to be alive. The only one that's probably done more drugs than him is probably Keith Richards, I would think. I mean, Joe Walsh is lucky to be alive. I don't think he remembers much of the 1980s. I mean, he was a mess. Famous for trashing hotel rooms and whatever. But I've always loved him as a guitar player. He's crazy. Like, he's literally insane. You know, on stage, he's pretty wacky. I just love his guitar playing because it is really distinct, and I don't think there's anyone else that sounds like him. When you hear it, you know it's Joe Walsh. So I love him, and I've seen him once with the Eagles, and it was one of the musical highlights of my life because he's my guitar hero. And you know what? I think you got to give the guy some credit that he doesn't, I don't think, take things too seriously, because he's in a band with two of the biggest assholes in music, and he's just content. He knows his role, and he's just happy to, you guys be dicks, I'm just going to play guitar. So hats off to you, Joe Walsh.
And he was pretty awesome on the Drew Carey show. I thought he was hilarious on there. He was fantastic. I don't know if you guys remember that or watched that, but he was pretty damn good on there. So you mentioned Rocky Mountain Way, which is also covered by Triumph, which has a pretty damn good guitar player who I'm not going to talk about, but they've been teasing the last couple of days. Keep watching their website. And then they showed them walking into a rehearsal hall with a set list kind of off to the side that you couldn't really read. So we may get a Triumph reunion. It's probably not going to be a whole bunch of dates. The recurring hope is that they open for Rush, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think if they do anything, they'll do it on their own. But anyway, Rick Emmett is honorable mention. But I'm going to go with it's a triple, but it's not. It is and it isn't, because it's a single album. But it's three dudes that got together one Friday night in San Francisco. I started with Al, kind of, but there's the other guys, and you can't count them out as by any means. But Al DiMeola is the guy that I want to specifically talk about. I don't know, 5-6 years ago, I had no idea who the dude was. And then my buddy Stacy, who kind of is my mentor when it comes to this record stuff, great dude, was going through some stuff that I had off to the side I hadn't gone through yet. And he found this album and he goes, okay, you have to put this on right now. You have to listen to this. It's really good. It's some Spanish flavor, some flamenco. It's just good guitar, instrumental, lovely stuff to listen to. So Al DiMeola, if you can find him, it's not hard to find, and he's not expensive to pick up as well. You'll usually find his stuff, I don't know, $10-15 or less, but really, really good stuff. And like I say, John McLaughlin and Paco de Lucia, also very, very good. So there you go. Guitar players galore from ceiling to floor on one album. All you could want. There you go.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Record Hound says great, incredible album. So
yeah, it really is. It's great. And it's just one of those you can put on, kind of sit back and enjoy your tea and listen to it. So it's good. Or your beer or your scotch or your whatever you like.
That was one of those that my dad tried to get me into when I was younger. So I remember it well.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, we'll go around again. So that was guitar players. So let's do bass guitarists now. What do you got, Richard?
Well, let's go to Canada. Gee, I wonder who it could be. Could it be Geddy Lee?
It could be.
It could be, but I'm showing his solo album, which I think kind of went under the radar in a big way. And this is really not a bad album. I played the hell out of this when it came out on CD. This is a Record Store Day issue from, I don't know, 8 years ago or so. Yeah, My Favorite Headache solo album. I think he wrote everything and then kind of teamed up with some other folks. I don't think they're listed on here, but who it is. But it's a solid, I would say, I mean, it's obviously not a Rush album, and it doesn't have, the Neil Peart-like lyrics, but it's solid. It's enjoyable. It has some great songs on it. So, but then you think about Geddy Lee as a precision bassist, OMG, my God. The trio of Rush is very much the sum of its parts, and the way they meshed and played so well together, and then Geddy Lee also being a multi-instrumentalist, which now when you play stuff with your feet while you're playing the bass and you're playing the keyboards at the same time, my hat's off to you. So
and singing, right? Not always, but yeah. No, very talented. It's a very talented group that may or may not come up later as well. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this band would have come up had I actually had a copy of any Rush in my collection. They wouldn't be coming up on the bass part. They'd be coming up somewhere else.
We need to fix
don't
that.
have any Rush, yeah.
Yeah.
Rush is one of those situations where I like the outer parts. I just don't like Geddy's voice. That's my
That's fair. That's valid.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you're not alone in that, right? I mean, I think that everybody goes, oh man, they're really good, but I don't like Geddy's voice, right? I think that gets said a lot, but yeah.
But I will say, like when Geddy did the whole thing with Rick Moranis and Bob and Doug and all that, that was hilarious. And he's a genuinely cool guy. I mean, don't want to bring up baseball again, but I mean, he's got season tickets to the Jays and he's always there, right? He's a good dude. I wouldn't put him in the cheese grater category though. He's not that bad.
No. Yeah. There you go. Fair enough.
All right. Daryl. Show us a bass player.
All right. So this shouldn't come as any surprise. This was automatic. The very first bassist I thought about because he's my favorite bassist in the world. That's Les Claypool from Primus. I do not know why my camera is reversed tonight. It's kind of weird. I'm not used to that.
It's right for us.
It looks right for us. Yeah.
Oh, it's backwards for me. Kind of weird.
No, you're good.
Oh well, is what it is. But yeah, no, Les Claypool. If I remember right, when he did that interview with Rick Beato, I always thought he was doing like the slap bass, but he says it's not slap bass. His style. I think he called it plucking. I think he's what he said. This album here, the Brown album, is my most recent one I got by Primus. It's probably the most, I guess if you're a Primus fan, the most divisive album other than maybe it's one that came out a couple albums after this, Green Naugahyde, which is a weird one. But this is where they changed over their drummer and all kinds of stuff like that. So not the most popular album by Primus, but there is a cool song called Shake Hands with Beef on it, which is a strange one. Gatefold. But yeah, no, he's got his own unique style. He's into all kinds of just different musicians. I mean, he's performed with Maynard from Tool. He's done all kinds of, I don't know if he's ever done anything Ministry. I don't think so. I think he's done all kinds of solo projects. And him and Pussifer actually they just released a single called something to do with fentanyl. I was listening to it the other day, and it's actually quite funny. but it's pretty accurate as to what our society has become. And it's on a white 45, I think it is. So he's still active. He's still doing all kinds of stuff. Very cool bassist. And I don't think there's any other bassist out there that sounds anything like him. He's very unique on his own. So yeah, Les Claypool. That was the first thing that came to mind.
All right. We'll keep the order going from last round, so I'll go next. I went with somebody that I think is arguably one of the most prolific bass players, who's been on more albums than you can imagine. So I picked this album, Delaney and Bonnie's Home, and the bass player is Donald Duck Dunn. One of the original members of Booker T and the MGs. He was in the Blues Brothers band, and prolific Stax musician, has been on hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of records. I probably have 30 or 40 albums that he's on, but this just happened to be the one that I pulled. On a side note, speaking of the Blues Brothers band and Booker T and the MGs, his counterpart, Steve Cropper, the guitar player, just died this afternoon. So
yeah,
I think is he not the last member still alive, or one of? I think just about everyone else has passed away. Duck Dunn died in 2012, but Steve Cropper died this afternoon. So rest in peace, sir. But I picked this guy because Duck is on. I mean, my first memory of him was when I was probably 10 or 12, and my dad's like, let's watch the Blues Brothers movie. And he was trying to explain to me how important these musicians in that movie are at 10 years old or 12 years old. I didn't give a shit. But as I got older, I understood his importance in music. So that's who I'm going with, Donald Duck Dunn.
Very nice. Yes, I was going to mention Steve Cropper. I saw that earlier too. So that's an awesome movie. I don't know if it's a great movie, but it's an awesome movie. Just with Ray Charles comes in and Aretha and everything. It's just I'm watching it later now. So that's
and let's not forget Princess Leia with a rocket launcher.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah.
I can't wait till my son's a little bit older. I'm going to watch it with him, because right now he'd go, "This is dumb," but when he gets a little older, maybe he might.
I think I could be wrong. We can look it up. I think it set the record for number of car crashes in a movie. If it didn't, it would have at the time, maybe gone in 60 seconds, beat it later, but I'm not sure.
They had to have destroyed a couple hundred cop cars.
Oh, yeah, it was crazy. It was insane. Yeah.
I absolutely love that movie. So, yeah, Record Hound, I read it about 2 hours ago. He'd passed away. So sometime, I guess, this afternoon.
Yeah.
I think he was 84, so he did okay.
Yeah, probably a life well lived, I would think.
I would imagine.
We're going to go with someone who has been on, according to what I could read, and yes, I'm able to read. I know I question it sometimes, but says that they have been on 10,000 albums. This is one of the albums that they have played on. Richard's shaking his head. Rob knows who I mean.
I know where you're going, because I almost picked it myself.
Yeah, and she is on lots, but it's Carol Kaye, of course, of the Wrecking Crew. And again, according to the stats, 10,000, maybe not 10,000 albums, but 10,000 songs. So, plays on, 8, 12 songs on here. But still, regardless, fantastic. The Wrecking Crew is a great documentary. Chris, man, I think I've said that one before, but if I haven't watched that, for sure it's out there. I think it's on Tubi even. It's freebie. But just fantastic. And one of those artists, much like Duck Dunn, who you have heard over and over and over again. If you've listened to albums from the 60s and the 70s, you just never saw her on a cover. And I don't think she was ever in a band. I don't believe that she was, not that I'm aware of. And she plays, I think it's officially her, and I can't remember if they made it official or not, but in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, the TV show, there was a character that was kind of based on her, and was kind of cool to watch or whatever. The got to imagine the bullshit that she went through and then played, and then hopefully everybody went, "Oh, sorry about that. Didn't mean to, call you a woman," or whatever the bullshit I'm sure that would have come with all the, when she first walked into a room. But then she brought her bass out and said, "Shut the hell up, boys. Here we go." So yeah, Carol Kay, fantastic, and a fantastic bass player. Not just prolific, but also a very good bass player. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's Scott's list: Jacko, Victor Wharton, Marcus Miller, Stanley Clark.
Yeah, Jacko for sure. I just I didn't want to start pulling jazz, A, because I don't have much, and B, there are so many. But anyway, but yes, Jacko is definitely one. And along with the others. But
Right. All right. That brings us to drummers. And Richard.
Drummer. I'm going to go with an unlikely candidate because prolific drummer, very good drummer, also not a half bad singer. But some prog people would be like, oh, he ruined their favorite band. And I'm talking about Phil Collins of Genesis.
yeah. Yep.
I love Duke. Duke is probably my favorite Genesis album, and I think it's because it was my entry point. And I know for a lot of us, that entry point kind of dictates what era of our favorite bands are. But Phil Collins drumming, he's a precision drummer. He's one of those ones you could just set him loose and away he goes. Unfortunate, slow demise of what he's become just kind of a shadow of himself over the years. But in the heyday, this is good stuff. I really enjoyed this album, through and through. So yep, Phil Collins from Genesis and solo.
Yeah, good choice. Very good choice.
Agreed.
Someone please break out the Muppet Show album, Animal wins.
If I had a Muppet Show, I might have shown it. But yeah, Animals classic, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought of a drummer that I feel like he was modeled to be like, oh, what drummer would be the best for Animal? And I have a name, but I'm not going to say it in case someone picks him. So.
All right.
I think I know who you mean. And we'll compare later because I didn't pick him, but we'll compare and we'll see if we're saying the same. I'm good at writing my name down right now. Sorry, Daryl. Go ahead.
I have a guess as well.
That's okay. So like the bass guitarist, this is the other one that like instantaneously came to mind for me just because of my musical taste. Every time I talk about these guys, I get jealous because Richard has seen them a few times. B, I get jealous because Joe may or may not have an official copy of another album that I want.
Right.
And that's Danny Carey from Tool.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like a mathematician on the drums. I don't know how he can do what he does, where he's playing slow with one hand and he's double bassing with another and all that. At the same token, if I had any Meshuggah, I would definitely be going with Thomas Hack as well because he's just crazy. I mean, I don't know how people can play the double bass as it is, but that guy plays entire concerts in his bare feet. Is that Thomas Hack from Meshuggah, which is insane. But Danny Carey is he's phenomenal. And if you start with this, I guess this is an EP, this opiate with the secret track and all that, which is all about going on an LSD trip or something like that. But if you listen to this and you compare it with the most recent album there, what's the most recent one? I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head.
Yeah,
it's the one that they just did 7 or 8 years ago. Anyway, the skill level where he started off here and where he's at now is it's crazy. And there's no doubt, like he's admitted he's been influenced by jazz drummers, by the prog psych era in the 60s and 70s, plus rock and roll. Even if you're not into Tool, you have to give him the props because it's absolutely amazing how he uses all 4 parts of his brain to I don't know how he does what he does. And there are songs that he's come out and stated, like, people try to replicate what he's done and he's like, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. It sounds almost identical, but it's incorrect. And I heard the same thing about I don't think I'm using that. No, I'm not using Stuart Copeland. I don't know if anybody's going to talk about Stuart Copeland later, but Copeland says the same thing, that they try to replicate some of his stuff and he's like, no, I just invented it on the fly.
Yeah.
So it's funny. Drummers are just weird.
Yes. Fear Inoculum. I didn't remember it. I looked it
Fear
up.
Inoculum.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
the one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just insane. I mean, that's like every song on there is like 10 to 15 minutes, and
Yeah.
he is at full speed the whole time. And the guy he's got to be 55, mid 50s, late 50s. I'm not sure, but I don't know how he can keep up.
Yeah, he was worth the price of admission alone when I saw them. I just watched him. Maynard's Maynard and other stuff going on, and they have a very good, very talented band. But yeah, just to sit and watch him play, and they kind of have him right, not up front, but almost up front and center, and Maynard was kind of back over here somewhere. So it was, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I can't. Wait. No, no, that doesn't count. No.
Okay. I'm going with my favorite drummer, Levon Helm. I don't know shit about drumming. I don't know if technically he's good or not. I think he's kind of he plays to the song. He's in the feel. But I love the music that he made. And he's one of those, not all drummers sing, but, the ones that do are good. And I think something about his Arkansas drawl and the way that he sings. I mean, I love the band, obviously. So I'm just a massive, massive, massive fan of Levon Helm. This is his album Ramble at the Ryman. So he had a home studio kind of in a barn in Woodstock, New York, that he would have these midnight rambles, and his band and any buddies that happened to be in town would come over on a Saturday night, and they'd have a midnight ramble, and you could go and watch these midnight rambles. And apparently they were nothing short of magical. So he took that show to the Ryman Auditorium and kind of did that same kind of show there. And so this is the live recording of it. This is incredibly hard to find, this album. I was lucky to get it when it first came out. It is gatefold. There's nothing important on the inside, just a picture of the Ryman Auditorium. Sheryl Crow is on here. John Hyatt's on here. Billy Bob Thornton's on here. Not that we give a shit because he's not a real musician. But love the band. Love Levon Helm. My favorite drummer.
Actually, you talk about Levon Helm because I do play the drums. I would argue that technically he is sound, and he's an amazing drummer for beginners to learn because he's simple. There's nothing complex, but like you said, it's what you need it to sound like.
Right.
Very structured. Yeah.
Excellent. All right,
Record Hound is saying he recommends the RCO All Stars. I do too, because I have it and it's fantastic. And if I'm not mistaken, Duck Dunn is on that album, and so Steve Cropper. The entire Blues Brothers band is on that record, so I have it. It's phenomenal. And Scott's saying he saw Levon. Man, I wish. My parents saw him when before the band was the band, when they were the Hawks with Ronnie Hawkins. They saw them. So, yeah. Okay, Joe.
I saw an old clip of them on Letterman doing Atlantic City. I watched the other night because it came up next in the list, and I went, yes, I'll watch that. All right, everybody keeps talking about him, so let's just talk about him. John Bonham. What are you going to say? You don't have to say anything, just John Bonham. That's all you got to say. So I went back to the start. Probably, it's not like he was better on any album. He was always the same, but I can't imagine seeing him play live. That would have just been mesmerizing. I mean, everybody in this band, this is one of those bands, and we talked a little bit about Rush, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about them as well. But Jimmy Page is a pretty damn good guitar player in here. Roger Daltrey's a pretty good, everybody in this band is a very, very good artist at what they do. So there's definitely a few bands like that. Some bands, people stand out, right? But other bands, they just had their shit together right from the start. They just happened to go, hey, you want to be in a band? And they found the right guys to say yes. So, and this is one of them. Whoa, just about lost that one. I got a couple copies of this. I don't know. This is an older beat up copy, but I don't know why I pulled that one out, because I did. And away we go. But yeah, there you go. as everybody's mentioned him, we'll bring up Mr. Bonham.
He's another drummer that all kinds of young people want to try to emulate every time you hear that, you know.
Yeah.
I always tried to emulate Dyer Maker because it's got a cool intro drum.
Yeah, rock and roll is seems like it would be easy. It's not that easy. So,
Yeah.
And that was, he lived the rock and roll lifestyle. I think all of Led Zeppelin did, but I think he stepped it up a couple extra notches above everybody else who was fairly excessive on their own. And then there was John Bonzo on top of it. But so, yeah, good stuff. Really good stuff. That would have been pretty cool to have seen him play.
Agreed.
Okay. Back to the top. It is miscellaneous is what I'm calling it. Miscellaneous. A kazoo player, a triangle player.
It's a triangle. I tried to get inventive with. I really wanted to get inventive with this. And there's only one that might be in that bill, but for the most part, I went with like keyboardists and piano players, and kind of looked at it in terms of like what makes and breaks a band. And for me, Michael McDonald with the Doobie Brothers kind of makes this album sound the way it does, and a few subsequent albums after this. His voice, that gruff, I call it kind of like, his mouth is stuffed with socks voice. It's just the way he sounds to me when he sings. And, the keyboardist for days. This is another unit kind of band that, when all of the elements were there working, they worked really well together. And then when, it wasn't quite there, it really wasn't quite there. So yeah, Michael McDonald, keyboardist, piano player, all that good stuff. But almost saw him on solo maybe about 20 years ago. And it kind of fell through. It was like, I can't go. Would have been fun.
That's no good.
Mm-hmm. I went a similar route, Richard, and I'm going to try to say this word without making it sound bad. But I'm going to show 3 albums because I couldn't narrow it down. But I'm going to show some pianists.
Just make sure it's people that play piano, because I don't want to get my channel removed.
Three pianists. So if Music Talk is here, he'd like this. I mean, I got to give props to Billy Joel. I know he's not everybody's favorite, but he's an amazing piano player. There's no doubt about that. Piano Man is fantastic. So I went with The Bridge. Could have went with the one with Piano Man on it. So start with him. Just phenomenal. Another one that I think is absolutely fantastic on the piano is Elton John, especially on some of his earlier works. Absolutely fantastic in the early 70s. But I think for me, the most amazing piano player has to be Bruce Hornsby. And not only that, but I could also include him as a mandolin player too, because I think he plays some of the mandolin. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but Mandolin Rain, he's definitely playing the piano on most of the tracks on these. So absolutely phenomenal. Those would be my 3 go-to piano players. Oddly enough, none of them were like in full-time bands or anything like that, right? They did parts. I mean, yeah, Bruce Hornsby and The Range, but I mean, for the most part, Bruce is a solo guy. There's no doubt about that, but he's got some fantastic piano stuff. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Pianist.
I did not show any pianists this round, but I got thinking about miscellaneous, and then I got thinking about multi-instrumentalists, people that play the weird stuff, and I would be absolutely remiss if I did not show my dear friend Bob, who's in the Canadian Music Hall of Fame, who is a multi-instrumentalist. Played with this band. In fact, here he is on the last album that he played. There he is holding the guitar right there. He retired after this album. He plays guitar. He plays pedal steel, which is what he's mainly known for. He plays lap steel, plays dobro, plays mandolin, and probably some other stuff I can't remember. He played in Freakwater. He was a member of Wilco for 4 albums. He played with Billy Bragg. He recorded with the Tragically Hip. He shared the stage with Johnny Cash, and the list goes on and on. Kind of one of those people you don't know about because he's a sideman, but you know, if we're talking about miscellaneous, the man has been on. He and I looked one day on Discogs. He's been on something like 300 different albums. So I'd be remiss if I didn't show my good friend Bob Egan as my miscellaneous person. So.
Very nice. And we would be remiss if we did not wish Jim Cuddy a happy birthday because he's going to be watching. So happy birthday, Jim.
Oh, yeah, of course. 70 years old.
Belated. It was yesterday.
Yeah,
right?
It was yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
70. Yeah, that's right. Still going strong as well.
Yep.
So, all right. I have not gone with pianists. I have gone with, I'm going to show you this album, and it will be very abundantly clear what I have gone with, and that is saxophone players. And I have left jazz out of this completely because there are so many jazz saxophone players, and I am, again, not a jazz aficionado by any means. But when you're talking about saxophone and you're talking about rock and roll, Clarence, of course, comes up. Clemens, and his nephew now with Bruce is a phenomenal player as well. But, yeah, I mean, Clarence Clemens is equally as much Bruce Springsteen as Bruce Springsteen is, I think, right? I mean, until he passed, they just went together. And it was a big part of the sound of a Bruce Springsteen album and Bruce Springsteen concerts and all of those things. So, yes, I know I bring Bruce up a lot, but that's fine. We can add him to the list of those that we're keeping track of who we talk about all the time. But you can't talk about saxophone players and not talk about the big man himself. And we've always talked about the coolness of this album as well, with the two of them kind of standing on each other, leaning on each other a little bit. And I think that was done on purpose. If not, it should have been. So there you go. Saxophone players. We got a couple of those coming up later with some more.
Look who's joining us, Jason Arsenault. Hey, you pal. Jason, don't be texting me shit to make me laugh. I'm trying to host a show, which you do every bloody time. I'm not going to look.
I think which is code for Jason, send me some shit. No,
he sends me stuff pretty much every day, and I do the same. But
too late.
Too late. Nice. All right. We're going back to the top. Back to guitarists. So, Richard.
Back to guitarists. Okay, I'm going with another classic whose guitar sound pretty much made up definitely a definitive part of the sound of the band, and that's Brian May of Queen. You can't call it a jangle. It's just a certain guitar tone that he nailed down to the nines. You go, that's Brian May playing. And when I saw Queen with Adam Lambert, I was just fixated on Brian May, just watching him play, because he's another guitar virtuoso who knows his instrument and plays it very, 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 very well. So, yeah. This is not a gatefold. I thought it was. Sorry. I was going to gatefold you, but I guess I won't. I think I have pretty much all of the Queen studio albums, mostly on the strength that, some of the weaker albums, his guitar work still is kind of what keeps me going. Absolutely love Brian May.
Saw him open for Guns N' Roses, which sounds odd, but it worked. Really, really good. Did some stuff on his own, and of course did some Queen stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was just like, holy shit, that's Brian May playing guitar. He's definitely up there. That's a great choice. I assumed one of us would get to that at some point because I think he's phenomenal. So
good pick.
Very nice.
All right,
Queen may be coming up a little bit later in the show.
Okay.
Or something else. All right. So this is going to be a duo. unfortunately, neither one of these artists is around, and they haven't been around for a very long time. But I think both of these, with the exception of maybe a few other artists, pretty much invented rock and roll, so to speak. One of these was a VCLT that I got from Joe. So first of all, I don't think we could talk about guitarists without talking about Ritchie Valens. I think is fantastic. But at the same time, I don't think we could talk about it without talking about Buddy Holly either. Because I think that both of them, for the most part, like I said, with the exception of a few other rock and roll artists, maybe Elvis at the time, although Elvis mainly did the singing, although he did play some guitar, right? You got to give credit where credit's due. This is a fantastic album as well, and it's an OG pressing, so can't go wrong there. And then, like I said, Buddy Holly. Every time I hear Buddy Holly, it just reminds me of Stand By Me. I don't know why that kind of music does. I got to get that soundtrack on vinyl though. Stand By Me. It's an amazing album.
Yep.
But yeah, no. Go back to the very beginning. I mean, we could go back even further with some of the old blues guitar artists and stuff from the 20s and 30s. But I think if we're going to talk about rock and roll and electric guitars and all that kind of stuff, you got to start with Buddy Holly. I don't know if anybody's going to be talking about Elvis later, but Elvis and Ritchie, I think those are your big ones. Yeah.
All right.
Very nice.
Okay. Guitarist. I'm going to go with, I don't know if this guy's my second or third favorite, but Lindsey Buckingham.
Nice.
Big Lindsey Buckingham fan. Love Fleetwood Mac. Love Buckingham Nicks. Solo stuff's okay. Why I like him, I mean, aside from the fact that I think he's a great songwriter, good producer, he has probably the most interesting, unique style of playing guitar that you're probably ever going to see. You know, he basically plays like a bass line and guitar at the same time. It's a weird strumming and finger picking at the same time. It's very distinct. It's still a mystery to me how he does it, but impressive as hell. I've seen him in concert 3 times, twice with Fleetwood Mac, once solo. Just wickedly talented. About time this album got reissued. This is an OG, but glad that other people finally get to track it down. And I'm going to show this just because I actually have a Buckingham Nicks bootleg. So this was when they went on tour to support that album. They only toured once because then they joined Fleetwood Mac. This was an FM radio broadcast of a show that they did in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And it's it's a live stage show of the songs that are on Buckingham Nicks and some of the songs that would eventually become Fleetwood Mac songs. Like Rhiannon is on here, which, was the sort of the demo before Fleetwood Mac got their hands on it. Really good. It's I like it because, it's kind of a timepiece. The recording is fine. I mean, it's an FM radio broadcast, so not great, but, it's certainly listenable and enjoyable. So there you go, Lindsey Buckingham.
Nice. When I think of Lindsey Buckingham, I think of a lot of things, but mostly I think of Holiday Road.
I was going to say Holiday Road.
Vacation, and then it makes me think of Christmas Vacation, the greatest movie. Anyway, I haven't watched it yet, but it's coming soon, probably next week, I think. So, all right, we're going to talk about a young man who is no longer with us, and I think those that know that he is an unbelievably great guitar player, and if you don't, you do now. But young Prince was a very, very good guitar player. Love him, hate him, whatever you think of Prince. I don't know how many hate him. I don't know if anybody hates him. Maybe there's not fans, but I don't know if anybody hates him. But really very good guitar player. I believe it was the whose tribute was it? It was George Harrison's tribute. And he
My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Right? Yeah. I mean, and Clapton was there, and Tom Petty was there, and I don't remember everybody that was there, but Prince played the solo. And the greatest Super Bowl halftime ever, him, Purple Rain, In the Rain, And the story, and it sounds like it's true because I believe it's been confirmed that the stage manager asked if there was anything that they could do for him, and all he said was, "Can you make it rain harder?" So Prince, very, very good guitar player. Weird dude, very talented dude, but a very, very good guitar player as well. So
it's always amazed me with that concert with George. I mean, Clapton's the one that recorded that solo on the album, My Guitar Gently Weeps. He recorded it. And then you have Prince come out and do it better than Clapton did. I love it.
Yeah, he fills it. If you haven't seen it, look on YouTube and check out, Well, My Guitar Gently Weeps from the George Harrison tribute.
Yep. You're speaking Scott's language, he says.
Yeah.
So. Okay. That means we're going back to the top and we're back to bass players again.
We are.
Okay, now this is out there for even me, because I had to look up. It was like, who was that bass player that played on that album? It was like, oh yeah, that's who it was. And I'm picking Mick Karn of Japan. And the only reason I'm picking Mick Karn of Japan is because he played fretless bass on Gary Numan's Dance album. And it's the most distinctive sound that absolutely brings all of the atmosphere of this album. It's like no other Gary Numan album up to that point. It's very atmospheric. It's slow, long songs. And Mick Karn's fretless bass playing is just this melodic overtone for every single song on here. And it absolutely makes the album. More even so than the fact that it's a Gary Numan album. So, we get a gatefold. And
there you
it's
go.
the Longy type.
Yep. That's good.
I never could quite figure out that image. I think this is when Numan was getting hair implants and he was wearing trophy hats for some reason, but could explain some things. So Mick Karn of Japan, his work with Japan is equally impressive, but I was like, who is playing this bass? And it was Mick Karn. It's like, wow, I guess that Numan and Japan were kind of touring almost side by side wherever they were going. And they ended up in that collaboration, and it definitely worked.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And you know what, Richard, you said out there for you. We love your out there, man. Keep it up. It's awesome. It's great. Out there is good.
Okay, bassist. All right, I'm going to go with a member of a band that I think is underrated, and I think he's, in my opinion, he's the forgotten member of the band, I think. And that is John Deacon of Queen. And I know that, when it comes to bass players, I don't think we think of, Queen, but I mean, you think of Another One Bites the Dust and stuff like that. Those are some pretty cool bass guitar riffs that are on there. And I think, I don't know what it is. You hear of, obviously, Freddie, and even now you hear of Adam Lambert and stuff like that, but nobody talks about John Deacon. And he's, for what it's worth, I mean, he was the fourth member of the band, third member of the band, whichever way you want to look at it, and absolutely amazing. Simple riffs, but these are riffs like bass guitar riffs that you will not forget. I mean, nobody forgets Another One Bites the Dust. Probably one of the most famous bass guitar riffs out there.
Well, yeah, I was going to, because that's where I was going next too. And I was going to preface it by saying one of the best known bass licks, and not so much that, but Under Pressure, right? Just the start of Under Pressure.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So, yeah. Dum, 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 yeah.
Yeah, what's really funny is even if you go online and you Google it and you look up, famous bass guitarists or the best bass guitarist, his name, I don't even think you'd see him in the top 20. But yet he's got some of the most famous riffs of all time. So, yeah. Deacon.
And he wrote a lot of Queen songs, so there's that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, Record Hound, you brought up that quote quickly. Yeah, he is definitely one that's like, okay, no, I'm done. I'm just going to live my life and hang out here, and you and Roger and Brian and you guys go do your thing. So he has no interest anymore. So,
yeah.
All right, I'm going to show another. Last time I showed a bass player that was renowned for being a session bass player, and I'm going to show another one. This is one I know Daryl loves this record.
Yeah.
Amanda Marshall, Canadian singer-songwriter from the 90s. On this album, her bass player is the legendary Leland Sklar. Again, one of those guys that has played with just about everybody. Like Duck Dunn, he's been on hundreds upon hundreds of records. When you read his discography, it's just like, yeah, I got that, I got that, I got that, I got that. So I just figured I would show this one. How he ended up on, the debut album from some unknown girl from Toronto, who the hell knows? But big Leland Sklar fan. He's got a great YouTube channel, if you're interested, where he just sits and breaks down some of these songs that he's played on and kind of tells the story behind them. Just entertaining as hell to watch. And he's done a couple videos about songs that he's recorded on this album. So Leland Sklar, one of my favorite bass players.
I won't use my next guy. I'll save him for the last round. So yeah, John Deacon, and then what the hell? Let's talk just quickly about the kid that's on this album, along with the other Beatles albums. It's not crazy slapping bass that Paul McCartney plays, but he's always done pretty well at it. Plus all the other talent. So we'll just honorable mention goes to Paul McCartney, and that'll be my turn. So yeah, there you go,
right.
Paul McCartney.
All right. So now we're going to drummers. Richard, take it away. I'm just going to run and say goodnight to my son. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Not a problem. So, God, who do I go with? You know what? I'm going to go with this one. All right. It's another outlier. I could become the king of the outliers. That's fine.
Yeah.
This drummer has played with some huge bands. And to me, I've seen him. I've seen him play with The Cult. I've seen him play with the band that I'm going to show in a minute. And he's just a sledgehammer of a drummer. And it is Matt Sorum.
Yep.
Love Matt Sorum's drumming style. It's fast. It's ferocious. It's heavy. He's heavy-handed. He might as well be playing with baseball bats because he's just going at it. He played in Velvet Revolver. I saw him with Velvet Revolver and The Cult. Probably, for all I know, I saw him in other bands and didn't even know it was him. He's played with so many different bands. So I'm just like, who knows? So yeah, Matt Sorum with, there he is, one of those guys. I think, is that him? Hang on. No, that's Weiland. Where are you, Matt Sorum?
Scotty.
Could be him. I can't remember. He's one of those people. Every time I see pictures of him, he looks different. Because, like, with Cult, he was just big, huge, beefy guy. And it was just like, holy shit, he's huge. But, yeah. Drums like a sledgehammer and impressive as all get out.
He was with Guns for quite a while, too, on like Use Your Illusion, right? That was kind of after The Cult, if I remember correctly, wasn't it? I think. Or
actually, it was before because he played with The Cult on what is this album? Beyond Good and Evil, and I saw him twice on this tour. This was like 2000, so it was later. He might have, I don't know, he might have vacillated through. A bunch of different bands at the same time.
I think I saw them because I saw them twice. I saw them on the Love, and I know that we talked about Electric on Sunday's show. I saw them for the Love tour. They opened for Billy Idol, and then I saw them and Jason Bonham actually opened up for The Cult when I saw him, and I'm pretty sure he was their drummer then. And I thought that was the Electric. Maybe that was just the tour, and then maybe he became the session guy afterwards. But yeah, that's a fantastic choice. Matt's an awesome drummer.
And that was what I was. I think what I was reading is that he was one of those drummers who would tour with the band but didn't necessarily play on the album. Sonic Temple, that's what it was. He toured with on Sonic Temple, but he didn't. I don't think he played drums on the album. So it was some other session drummer. Because by that time, The Cult was basically Ian Astbury and Billy Duffy, and that was it. They just kind of brought in whoever else we needed.
Cool.
But
yeah, awesome choice. Great choice. I love it. Daryl, go ahead.
All right. So Richard, you already mentioned this band before. I think it was the guitarist you talked about. I've got to go. So I went with Danny, and I talked about Meshuggah. This is like the complete opposite of these guys. And everybody talks about Toto 4 all the time, but we always forget about this. But Jeff Porcaro, absolutely amazing. I wouldn't say he's like a beginner drummer's drummer, but you can get by knowing some of the basic riffs. But the big thing about Jeff Porcaro is he adds like ghost. Well, if you know anything about drumming, like adding ghost notes and things like that, it's just with Rosanna and Africa and stuff like that. There's just some unique twists that he does all the time, and he's rated very highly as a drummer. So yeah, Jeff Porcaro. The Toto album that I think goes unnoticed sometimes is this self-titled one. Yeah, well, everybody talks about Toto 4, which, don't get me wrong, Toto 4 is an amazing album, but this is the one that has Georgie Porgy on it, and Hold the Line. Hold the Line's the big one on this one. Yeah, so yeah, he's highly regarded, but once again, and I think Alex from Beer and Vinyl, he did a show. Oh, it was one of the first shows that I actually went on and watched, and he was talking about drummers on it, and you know, when you compare drummers to drummers, you got to be cautious, right? Because there are those like Jeff and Levon Helm, for example, like Rob was talking about earlier, they're more soft, but they're technically sound. Whereas some of these drummers nowadays, it's like playing like 1,000 things all at once. So yeah, he fits the bill of not simple, but once again, technically sound drumming.
Well, the guys from Toto, all of the guys from Toto really were kind of that next generation of Wrecking Crew, right? And then they finally just got together and said, screw it, let's just do a little bit on our own. But I think that was kind of the case. They weren't the Wrecking Crew, and I don't know if there was a name, and I don't know if, because there's another documentary called Hired Gun, which is pretty good, which is kind of, again, that second generation of you need a studio musician, you need a drummer, you get that guy because he's just going to come in and he's just going to be able to play for you. So yeah, that's awesome.
And how can you go wrong with a drummer who wears a bandana and has a smoke in his mouth all the time? Can't go wrong there.
Yeah.
Okay. My turn, and it's drummers, right?
Correct.
Is that where we're at? Okay. I'm going to show an album where you guys are going to go, what the hell is that? And why the hell are you showing that? And what the hell does that have to do with drummers? But I'm going to show it because she's very pretty. Susanna Hoffs, The Lost Record. So Susie, my fantasy wife, she recorded an album in the mid-90s. In between when the Bengals broke up and the Bengals reunited, she recorded a solo album. Some of these tunes actually ended up on Dull Revolution, which was the Bengals reunion album. God, she's pretty. I'm easily distracted. The drummer on this album is a guy we've talked about many times on the channel because he basically drums on everybody's records, and that's Jim Keltner. Mm-hmm. I probably have 50 albums that he plays on. He's a drummer on Buckingham Nicks, ironically. So I could have showed that record, but Susie's prettier, so I already showed Buckingham Nicks. Like I said, I have a ton of records he plays on, but plays with anybody. Again, I don't know shit about drumming, so I don't know if he's a good drummer or not, or if I don't think he's got a particular style because he can play anything for anybody. I think, right. This is the comment, I guess, about Toto, that they're all session players. This is kind of one of the things that I love about, some of these discussions we get into is, the person on the album cover is, the one that gets all the recognition. But, man, there are some incredible sort of, rock and roll heroes that you just don't hear about but are on everything, and they can play whatever you need them to play. And I think Keltner is one of those guys. So that's who I'm going with. Look at how pretty Susie is. Wow.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, Joe, drummer.
Neil Peart. We talked about Geddy Lee. Alex Lifeson could equally be in the guitar category as well. So that is a pretty damn solid band with a lot of great songwriting and a whole bunch of other things going on for them. So yeah, you talk about three dudes that really were very good at their instruments. Because like I say, Alex Lifeson could have used them as a guitar guy as well. So, but when you're talking about drummers, there's two, and I'm saving the other one for later. For me, anyway, there's so many great drummers, and I can keep a beat, but that is about the extent of how much I can drum. I bought a big Pearl drum set because Peter Criss made me want to buy a big Pearl drum set back in the day, so I did, and I kind of learned, but not that much. But Neil, that's it. That's all I got. Neil, that's all I need to say.
To be honest with you on this one, I love Neil Peart. If there's anybody out there that doesn't like the drumming on YYZ, in my opinion, they don't know music.
Yeah,
because that is absolutely incredible.
Earlier,
what he does on that song.
Earlier,
Yes.
I can't remember who said where he's all over the place. He is the definition of, he is not just keeping a beat. He is playing the drums. And
He's got
Yes.
he had the 360 set.
yeah,
He just played it was amazing.
I know he kept adding to it, like the Snakes and Arrows one, the above shot is
Huge.
just insane. But it wasn't for show. That's the thing. There was some guys. There was a guy that did a
Yeah.
cover of Runaway, and I can't remember his name. A Mexican guy, and that's not to be derogatory, but it was a Mexican guy who I can't remember did a remake of Runaway, and if you look it up, you'll see it. He had a whole shitload of drums. He played about 4 of them. He played the snare and a couple of the toms. The rest was for show. Neil played the whole thing, and then he would add, like, just bring me some more stuff in, and I'll figure out where to put it in the song. So anyway, there you go. Neil.
That's an amazing pick. And like I said earlier, if I had Rush, he would have shown up here.
Yeah.
Okay, that brings us to round 2 of miscellaneous. So, however you interpret that,
All right.
kazoo players. That's right, kazoo players.
I'm going with another sort of virtuoso, multi-instrumentalist, but mostly keyboards. And if you've ever seen the show Miami Vice, you know who this guy is. And it's Jan Hammer. And Jan Hammer is a keyboardist, synthesizer player, everything. His collaboration with Neil Schon and Jan Hammer is absolutely fascinating to me, because I have that album up there by them, and I have this one. And I almost put Neil Schon in the guitarist section for this, because he hasn't just played with Journey. He's collaborated with Jan Hammer. He's been with HSAS, which is one of my favorite albums of all time. Anyway, Jan Hammer is one of those ones who's collaborated with a bazillion people, from Steve Lukather to, I had a list of people. There was like 5 or 6. I was like, I didn't know they worked together. But at the same time, if you've seen Miami Vice, Jan Hammer, because he was all over like the Miami Vice soundtracks and whatnot. So, go with Jan Hammer.
He did a lot.
Record Hound saying you need Jeff Beck with the Jan Hammer group live.
That one too. I thought about Jeff. Jeff Beck was on that list, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
There's a Jan Hammer album that I've been wanting. It's on my Grail list, and there was like I don't know what you call it, like a futuristic type movie that he did as a soundtrack in the early 90s called Beyond the Mind's Eye.
Oh.
And I used to have the CD and the VHS tape of it, but I want to find it on vinyl, but it's so hard. It's one of my grails. It's amazing what he does. He just got all kinds of unique stuff. And of course, Miami Vice theme was really good too. It's funny. Nobody seems to know Jan Hammer, but he's got all kinds of stuff.
But he's been on a billion projects.
Yep. Did he turn into a score guy? Like a Danny Elfman and John Williams. I don't know if he started doing scores or not. I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up.
Yeah.
But good stuff, though. And you're right. Neil's a pretty damn fine guitar player as well.
All right. For my
Right.
next miscellaneous, I went with an entire section, I guess you would call it. Now, I've talked about these guys before. I prefer their 80s stuff, but I respect their early stuff. Started as a transit authority and then became Chicago. So I'm going to just talk about an entire brass section. I think that the brass section in Chicago, I mean, perhaps one of the most, other than unless you're like in a brass band or something, one of the most famous bands to ever use an entire brass section. Chicago, and this is the greatest hits. 25, 6-4. That's got Saturday in the Park's really good. Like I said, a lot of this is, I wouldn't say it's full on brass, but when they do their brass stuff, they know their stuff. And I mean, unless, like I said, unless you're in a brass band, that's not easy to pull off. Having a rock band with a brass section in it, that's a lot of coordination and a lot of talent. So Chicago is my pick for my miscellaneous, just the entire brass section.
Plus, you got to make that many more albums and sell that many more records because you got more guys in the band you got to pay. That's why I never understood. Russian Triumph had it down to just 3 dudes. We only got to pay 3 guys. Oh shit,
Yeah.
We got to pay the horn section. Damn it. Yeah.
I guess we could have went with Blood, Sweat, and Tears for that too. They got really good brass stuff in that band too.
Yep, they do.
Okay. Miscellaneous for me. I'm going to go something a little different here. Another person that I would be remiss if I didn't show them because they're a friend of mine. I'm going to go with a fiddle player. Why not? No one's talked about fiddle players tonight. There's my pal Kendall Carson right there. She currently plays with Alan Doyle, formerly of Great Big Sea. She was also this year in Shania Twain's touring band. She has played with Elvis Costello. She has played with John Prine and a host of other people. Again, one of these kind of like sidemen, except she's not a man, she's a woman. By pure happenstance, I actually have one of Alan's tour posters sitting on my desk, and there she is right there. Of particular interest to Joe, next week on CBC is Bryan Adams' Christmas special, and she plays with Bryan and the gang and Alan on Bryan Adams' Christmas special. So
yeah, Brian,
I know you're going to be tuning into that, Joe.
Bryan Adams and the Sheepdogs all in the same place.
Exactly. So a great fiddle player, Kendall Carson.
Yeah, and not that you need backup, but she is phenomenal live as well. And I'm not going to get into it yet again, but I just love that. It sticks in my head watching her play on a very fun evening with a lot of other things going on. She stood out. She was really, really good. So
yeah, and a super cool person too. So
always a bonus.
And I have heard fiddle playing is not easy. It is a unique talent on its own.
Yep.
Indeed. Too bad I didn't. If I had Ashley McIsaac, he would have shown there as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Okay. We're going to do one more round because it takes us about a half. We're going to do one more guitar, bass, so we're going to go around 4 more times, but we're doing one more group of 4 rounds. Let's just say that. So
got it.
It's about a half an hour, and then we can wrap things up. So we're not going to probably be able to show the last group of 4 that we picked, but let's see where the wind takes us. So back to the top with guitar players, and Richard, who's your 3rd guitar player?
All right. Well, the last one is another one of those guitarists who made his guitar style kind of helped define the sound of this band, and still playing. But it's Johnny Marr at the Smiths.
Yep.
And I just love that sort of, how do you define it? It's not really a jangle, but it's the opening to how soon is now? Yeah. It just has I can't even define his guitar tone. Is just so fascinating, and it's one of the things that make a Smith song the Smiths, not just Morrissey's vocals. If you had someone else singing, and if the Smiths had continued to go on and they found someone else to replace Morrissey, good luck with that. You'd still go, oh, that's Johnny Marr's guitar sound. Weirdly enough, I haven't seen Johnny Marr solo, and I wonder if he's still kind of. I know that he'll do Smith songs live, but I don't know if his guitar tone has changed a lot. But for me, every Smith's album is just colored by the way he plays guitar, and I love it. So Johnny Marr,
Echoey, maybe not. I don't know. There's shades of
reverb.
echoey.
Yeah, it's an effects thing, and it's that repeater type thing. It's just really fascinating to me, and all of those guitarists. The other one I was going to pull up with Kevin Shields of My Bloody Valentine, who can do a lot with a guitar to make it sound anything else besides a guitar. Same thing. So the effects guitar players have always fascinated me with what they can do with pedals and reverb and whatnot.
The Edge.
Yeah,
The Edge.
that's jangly. The Edge is jangly for sure. I think he even said so himself at some point. Yeah.
Yep.
And the Edge is interesting because he's a minimalist as far as guitar tone goes. He's not doing much, but he makes it sound like a lot.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's as few notes as possible, and it's delay and reverb, and he builds a lot out of nothing.
Yeah, and it works. Yep.
All right, there.
All right. Speaking of guitarists that I think seem to be able to do almost anything, classic rock and roll. That's Jeff Lynne, ELO. I think he's phenomenal with the guitar. Hold On Tight. I just love the guitar riffs and whatnot in that. On a future episode, we should just do like songs that have amazing guitar or drum solos in it, because I think Jeff Lynne fits the bill for that one for sure, with Hold On Tight and stuff like that. Amazing tracks. My dad used to listen to ELO when I was a kid. It's kind of like you, Rob, where it's one of those bands where for the longest time I was just like, yeah, ELO. But now as I get older, I'm like, man, Jeff Lynne, the vocals, the main tracks, and the B-sides are just phenomenal. And I think Jeff Lynne, and a lot of those songs, he makes those songs. If it's not for that guitar and those solos, there is no I shouldn't say there is no ELO, but I don't think ELO is what it would be without him.
Yep, that's fair. Okay. I was going to go with The Edge, but I'm going to go with my other favorite guitar player. Again, not a person that a lot of folks know, but he's played with some big wig people. So I'm a big Linda Ronstadt fan, and part of what I love about Linda Ronstadt is that long-haired fella right there, Waddy Wachtel. Love him as a guitar player. He was Linda Ronstadt's guitar player. He did a ton of session work. He's the guitar player on Buckingham Nicks, in addition to Lindsey Buckingham. After Linda Ronstadt stopped doing the rock and roll thing, he became Stevie Nicks' guitar player, and still is to this day. He's been on a ton of albums doing session work, but I love Buckingham Nicks. I love Linda Ronstadt. Love Stevie Nicks. So all the stuff he plays on, love it. Him and a Les Paul does some pretty magical things. So kind of an underrated guitar player, I think. Not a lot of folks talk about him, but he's got a pretty distinct sound, and I just love his volume of work.
He was just on with the Killers for Warren Zevon's induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He came out and did Lawyers, Guns, and Money with the Killers, which sounded really, really good. Scott brings up a great guitarist as well, Ellen McElwain. There's another recommendation for a documentary to watch. It's I think it's on CBC Docs, so I'm not sure if you're going to be able to watch it, Chris, but very good. Quick story. Guy came in, he watched the documentary, came in and goes, "You got any Ellen McElwain?" And I didn't want to sell him mine. I said, "I don't right now, but I'll keep an eye out." And about a month later, I bought a collection, and there was a couple in there, and one was even signed. So I was able to find, here you go. Here's a signed Ellen McElwain for you. I didn't bring it home. I sold it. So yeah, great guitar player. Look her up; she's fantastic, and a good Canadian kid as well, if I remember correctly. Okay, I'm gonna go with this gentleman who I did have a chance to see. I'll just keep it in the sleeve. What the hell? Because there's the concert ticket. But Joe Satriani, he's one of those guys that's very technical and, just kind of wails away and stuff. So it is definitely an acquired taste. Sometimes it's not like, we talk about some of the guys where they go very quietly minimalistic, but are very solid and very good at what they do. Joe is like a guitar solo all the way, all the time, kind of. Currently playing with Sammy Hagar, doing a bunch of stuff with Sammy and with another pretty decent bass player as well. Good Lord, Michael Anthony, there you go. In whatever the hell Sammy Hagar's calling his band right now. But Joe Satriani, Surfing with the Alien, taught a bunch of people guitar as well. So that is always an indicator that you're a decent guitar player when you can teach other artists that then go on to make music how to play guitar. So Joe Satriani is going to finish it off for me. And he was fantastic live. Like I said, it was an hour and a half long guitar solo, pretty much, really, for the most part. So, yeah, it was very good.
That's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. No, especially when it's good. That's correct.
It's funny. He's one of those guitarists that we all know, but we don't all know, if that makes sense.
It's tough to have hits, I suppose, if that is an indicator of more knowledge of an artist, right? Because when you're just doing, like, there was one hit and it's on here, but what the hell was it called? I can't remember. But yeah, it's not like he's out there on the radio all the time. Not Surfing with the Alien, but anyway, yeah, good stuff, really good stuff. And there's Joe and one of his many, many, many guitars, I'm sure.
Okay.
Ta-da.
Bass players. Who's your last bass player, Richard?
All right. I am going to go with another one of those players that helped define the sound of the band. Then when that band turned into another band, he continued on. And this is Peter Hook from Joy Division. And that bass sound that absolutely set just that tone and atmosphere and that dark, brooding sound of Joy Division with, that voice, and continued on when New Order kept going on. And then Bernard Sumner singing and Ian Curtis's sadly passed. Different sound, slightly different tone, not quite as brooding, but I love Peter Hook's playing. Saw him doing, I guess I consider it a solo show, and they were doing, it was kind of like a combination of Movement and Power, Corruption, and Lies. And sad to say, I didn't enjoy the show because it just didn't. Peter Hook singing those songs doesn't work for me. I need Peter Hook playing bass to someone else singing those songs, and that works for me. And that was kind of what took it down a notch.
And did you see New Order? Because that seems like someone you would, obviously, this is a dumb comment, someone you would go and see when you just show them, but you didn't get a chance to. They were never around here.
No, they did never come around. Or I was in a different part of the world when they were playing where I lived. That happened once.
Yeah.
So I can't see New Order, damn it. It was Public Image Limited, Sugar Cubes, and New Order, and I missed that tour because I wasn't in town.
Because you weren't there, yeah. That probably
deep bass of Joy Division. It's like, other than maybe Throbbing Gristle, the initial industrial band, you could almost make a case that Joy Division was the beginnings of industrial music with that deep, depressing bass, really. Yeah, like it's kind of a bass when, like you said, it's almost like atmospheric, but depressing, deep.
Yeah, right. It's a downer because it's
not loud. It's almost like you can feel like, if you really think about it from an emotional perspective, like your body is just going to blow up of emotion.
Tension. Yeah.
Tension. Yeah.
Under pressure.
Sounds like
And of
Ice Ice
course,
Baby.
what happened with Joy Division kind of sums up, I think, a lot of the band. Really,
Yeah.
what was his name? I can't remember the lead singer.
Nope.
I forget his
For
name.
who? For Joy Division?
Yeah,
Ian
what was
Curtis.
his name? Yeah. So that kind of, I think, sums up that. Yeah, it sums up a lot.
Okay. It's Daryl's turn. I haven't screwed up yet. This is good.
So I think that this is going to be an unusual choice for the bassist, because when we think about this guy, we think of him mainly as a vocalist, I guess you would say. But I think there's something to be said about Sting as the bassist for the Police, right? Every Breath You Take and all that kind of stuff. Although I know that that's kind of a stand-up bass. But I mean, a lot of the songs on Synchronicity and this one here, Ghost in the Machine, is, I mean, his bass makes up a lot of that. And of course, if I wanted to, tie this in with drummers, Stuart Copeland for sure has to fit the bill of an amazing drummer on this as well.
Agreed.
So I'm not going to talk much about that because drummers are next. But yeah, I mean, Sting is an interesting bassist. I mean, he's like so many others. I mean, he's egotistical. A lot of people don't like his vocals, but at the end of the day, once again, we can't. It's like Queen with Another One Bites the Dust and a few of those other songs. I mean, Every Breath You Take is perhaps one of the most recognizable bass songs out there. That riff that's on there, right? So, yeah.
That
Not
wedding
known
song.
for his bassing. I guess I don't know what you would call it, but his bass guitar skills. But he should be discussed. I think he's definitely has some reason to be on the list.
All right.
Yep, I almost picked Sting.
All right. I'm going to show an album, but not the one that people might think of. This is John Mayall and the Blues Breakers. And for those that might not know, this gentleman here is the bass player, and his name is John McVie. Would later go on to, I guess, widespread fame as a bass player for Fleetwood Mac. I'm a big Fleetwood Mac fan. I love the Blues Breakers as well. It has been, I mean, obviously the band is named after John McVie and Mick Fleetwood. A very solid rhythm section, and one would argue maybe one of the best in the history of popular music. I mean, John's been the bass player since day one through every incarnation of that band. Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, and then the Rumors era Fleetwood Mac, and all the other lineups after that. And he played all those styles of music, and great blues bass player. And just, I love watching him play because he just stands there with a smile on his face, and that's all he does. Like, he doesn't. He you could tell he's enjoying being there, and that's all there is to it. There's no show about him, which that's kind of cool. So I'm going to go with John McVie.
All right, I am going to go with the bass player that at the most wears a sock on stage and at the least wears nothing on stage, and that is Flea. He was brought up before. The dude is weird. The dude is weird looking, but the dude can play some bass, man. Like, I mean, and that kind of defines the Chili Peppers. If you listen to a lot of their stuff, there is a lot of very, very good bass. And drums are really good. Guitar's really good. Anthony can sing, but really, I think when you think of the Chili Peppers, or at least when I do, you think of the bass. And this is a great album. I think I brought up the Chili Peppers. I don't remember why. I think Mother's Milk I brought up for some reason the other. Oh, because we were talking about rock on Mr. Mann's show, and they definitely fall into that. No, it was us. It was West Coast last week. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. If you don't know who Flea is, look it up. Look up Flea at Woodstock 99. And that'll give you an indication of what Flea is like. So, but dude's crazy, but he can play some bass for sure.
Sure can.
And he was Needles in the Back to the Future trilogy.
He was. That's right. He's actually had a little bit of an acting career, actually.
And
Yeah.
he kidnapped Princess Leia in the Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi show. So
Was he actually Needles?
yes.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. I thought Needles was just some other actor,
No, it's Flea.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He hasn't done a lot, but if you look him up on IMDb, he's been in a few things. So
I'll never look at that the same ever again. That's
Right?
hilarious.
Like
I never knew that.
especially that scene at the end of Back to the Future 3 when Marty and Jennifer in the pickup truck and Needles pulls up and he's like, "You want to race?" And so they rev it up and the street light turns and Marty flips it in reverse. He goes, "You don't think I'm dumb enough to race that asshole, do you?" And that's Needles that he's talking about.
yeah. Yeah. Good old cameos of rock stars in movies. I was watching The Color of Money with Newman.
That
and
could be a
Creed.
show one week, fellas. We could do that.
We could.
Could.
And Iggy Pop was in it. He was playing Paul Newman in one of the scenes. So, all right, bass players. What do we got left? We got drummers, right?
Drummers. So
Yeah.
we're back to the top here. We got drummers
And others, eh?
miscellaneous.
Yeah.
So drummers. So are we doing both or just one?
No, do drummers, then we'll do another round from miscellaneous.
Got it. Okay. So another precision drummer that I cannot imagine anyone else doing drums for this band. That's Larry Mullen Jr. of U2.
Yes.
And I think his drum tone and just the simplicity of, have you ever seen U2 live? His drum setup is not that impressive. It's just a simple setup, but what he does with it is so fascinating, and it just makes, every U2 song pop. Not just because he's playing drums, but you know what I mean. But I haven't heard anything about Larry Mullen since he had his back surgery and whatnot. I don't know how he's doing. I don't know if U2 is coming back or what's going on.
He's made a full recovery by all accounts, and apparently they're in the studio starting work on the next album.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Good to know. I just haven't heard anything, even social media or whatever. But yeah, absolutely love U2, as you know. Rob, I thought you'd show him by now, so I'm just going to go with it.
No, I didn't. I thought about picking them, and I thought about picking the Edge too, and I didn't end up picking either of them. So
I think he was in the video, and it's when he wasn't healthy, but he was still in the video when that song Atomic City that they wrote when they were playing the Sphere. I think he was in that when they were back in Vegas, kind of doing the Where the Streets Have No Name thing. So I think.
Yep, he was. I think I read an interview a couple weeks ago. Someone had asked Edge how Larry's doing. He said his back's good now. So
Yeah, that's good.
we need an album because it's been like 6 years since Songs of Experience, something like that. We're due. And Songs of Innocence doesn't count because that's dog shit. Yeah.
Hey.
So was the drummer, Daryl.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Joe was going to show this band in one way, shape, or form. I could have went with a guitarist on this, but I chose to go with the drummer. So I'm going with Alex Van Halen on the drums. I mean, when we were talking about Rush earlier, and we talked about YYZ and stuff. I mean, Hot for Teacher has one of the craziest drum intros of all time, and everything about it. I mean, this is arena rock at its finest, like stadiums being sold. But yeah, I mean, we could have went with Eddie as well for guitars. Yeah, I mean, classic 70s and 80s rock and roll, Van Halen. And I mean, it's complex. I mean, that Hot for Teacher is a complex song, but some of the other songs, I mean, once again, if you can keep a beat, you don't need, I'm not saying that he does filler music. He does some filler stuff, but I mean, if you can keep a beat, you can play Van Halen music on the drums if you try.
Yeah. And I think for those watching and everybody now screaming, why the hell did none of them pick Eddie Van Halen? I think maybe I thought you were going to and you thought I was going to, or something along the lines of that, because I mean, there's a few guys that just are, a given. I don't think that's necessarily the way we went, although I did go with the given of Neil on the drums. But anyway, so yeah.
Well,
but Alex, I thought of Alex as well, because Alex is really good. And again, to see them live and to see him play live is very, very good as well. So nice.
And to be clear, we weren't talking necessarily about who are the best. We're just pick 4 of your favorites. So we're not saying they're the best, just 4 of your favorites. So, all right. Drummer for me. I'm going with a guy fascinates me. And again, I don't know shit about drums, but from everything that I've heard from drummers, he's highly revered by most, and other people just kind of go, why is this guy a big deal? Ringo. I mean, he played on some of the most revered, timeless recordings that will ever be made. Whether you're a Beatles fan or not, you cannot dispute that some of those songs transcend music, and there's something else entirely. But you look at his drum kit. I mean, is there anyone that plays a smaller drum kit than Ringo? No, there isn't. But he makes it work. And I hear, I've seen, I guess when he was inducted into the Rock Hall, a bunch of drummers like Stuart Copeland and Dave Grohl and Questlove and a bunch of drummers sat behind Ringo's kit, and they were demonstrating different things, and they just go, he had this sound that is just different than anybody else. Like, it's Ringo because he makes the hi-hat sound like he's washing the windows kind of thing. And it's this distinct Ringo sound. And you hear drummers talk about he is the ultimate sort of pocket drummer. He just fits into the pocket of that song. And it's not just about him keeping time. All his drum beats are very unique, but they're not like in your face. You don't think about them, because they're in service of the song. But when you pay attention, listen to them, you go, holy shit, this is some pretty interesting stuff. So I don't think he gets enough credit. I mean, I think everyone talks about how great John and Paul are, and, George is a great songwriter too, but I don't know that he really, I think a lot of people just go, well, he was just the drummer. And I don't think there's anything that exists as just the drummer. So Ringo.
I think he fits in and kind of in a similar vein as one of your earlier choices, Levon Helm, where it's about just keeping time and just keeping it clean.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes him so popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, he takes a lot of shit for his drumming, but the guys that know, I think, right?
If so, you know, as the saying.
You know. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
100%. Okay. I saved, I think one of the best for last. And it is a bit of a jazz drummer. And this is the Buddy Rich Big Band, because it's Buddy Rich. I think a lot of drummers owe Buddy Rich a lot of their sound. Another guy that didn't have a whole hell of a lot of drums to work with, because that just wasn't a thing back in the day. But if you go and you look and you watch Buddy Rich play the drums, you'll just go, there's times you can't see his hands moving. He is unbelievably good. I have another album. I don't know why I didn't pull it out. It's him and a couple other guys, and it's a drum battle. And it's, kind of like I said, Joe Satriani was an hour and a half long guitar solo. It's just drum battle, back and forth, and drums, and then it's got some horns in it and stuff. And look at that. I mean, that's a pretty cool looking dude, man. Like, I'm just going to play my drums. I'm going to wear this necklace, and we're going to have some fun. So there you go. Buddy Rich and the Buddy Rich Big Band. He was on a lot of jazz albums, both his own and others. And just phenomenal. If you are not familiar with, and you want to go and seek some stuff out, go and check it out on YouTube, because there's lots out there, and it's just really, really good stuff. So who was the animal that you were thinking of? Because now we're through all the drummers. Who were you thinking of animal?
Keith Moon.
I thought maybe Ginger Baker, only just because of the hair.
I thought Keith Moon as well.
True.
Yeah, but Keith definitely. I agree with that. So John Bonham a little bit as well. Animal was probably an amalgamation of those three there. That's what he was. Yeah, a little bit. So yeah.
Yep.
Gene Krupa, yes. Thank you very much. That's exactly who I meant. That's perfect. Yeah. Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Last round. Miscellaneous.
All right.
What you got?
The last one for me, I wanted to go with someone who's an absolutely integral part of a band, but doesn't play any instruments, is only a vocalist and doesn't play anything else. And you can't imagine that band without that singer. And the one that came to mind was Debbie Harry from Blondie. And if anything happens to Debbie Harry, Blondie is done. I don't think you can replace Debbie Harry with a similar vocalist with similar style that would work with Blondie, full stop. I was fortunate enough to see Blondie not back in this era, but later on the Pollinator tour. Garbage opened and was Blondie. It was a great show. But yeah, distinctive style, distinctive vocals, and she still has the chops. For what I hear, they're back in the studio and they're doing some new stuff. So excited to see that. And so yeah, vocalists, I could have gone with Robert Plant. Doesn't play much other than like harmonica and stuff, but and I was thinking maybe Jagger. Rolling Stones without Jagger.
Yeah.
Can't
Man,
do
that
it.
would have been an insane show to see Shirley and then Debbie both sing in the same bill. That's pretty cool because Shirley's pretty damn
was
good.
good.
Yeah,
That was
that's
a great
awesome.
show.
That would have been great. Yeah, nice choice.
Thank you.
All right. Daryl.
It's
Throw
funny,
something else.
Richard, because I had a very similar thought process on this one. If you hadn't mentioned, I was actually going to say I cheated. I went with a vocalist, but I can't imagine. Although I suppose because this band continues to perform with a different vocalist, but the iteration of this band that I always think of is not the current, and that is Lane Staley from Alice in Chains. He's got a very distinct, very unique. I mean, when we talk about grunge, I mean, yeah, you've got Soundgarden and you've got Pearl Jam, and I think we talked about this last week when we were talking about Seattle bands. There is no vocalist during the grunge era, I think, that sounds as distinct as Lane. And when they did the Unplugged, Nirvana did it and Alice in Chains did it and stuff like that. I mean, that is as ill as he was during that performance, and it's very evident how sick he was. It was amazing. He's just got that. I can't. It's like a grunge twang sound.
Yeah.
I guess you would say. Yeah, I mean, I can't see any other vocalist doing Rooster the way it was, doing Wood, doing Sick Man. I just those first 3 albums, along with the Jar of Flies EP, it would not be the same without Lane. Yeah.
Good pick. Yeah, excuse me. Good pick. Like you guys, I went vocalist too because, yeah, and I'm going with
Unity.
exactly. I'm going with the person that I think is the greatest vocalist there ever was, and everyone can have different opinions, but I don't think there's anyone better than Freddie Mercury. Mm-hmm. The range he had, the way he sang, the songs that he wrote, incredible. Yes, he played piano. Yes, he played guitar a little bit. But that's not what you think of when you think of Freddie Mercury. You just think of the voice. No. And so it was either him or Elvis for me, but I've always maintained Freddie's the greatest singer and the greatest frontman there ever was. So I had to end it on Freddie Mercury.
I was going to say the showmanship it can't be beat. I mean, you know what? I've talked about this with you guys before that I'm not a huge Adam Lambert fan, but I agree that there's nobody else could replace Freddie with the exception of maybe Adam because the showmanship is there.
Yeah. And I don't think, people go, Adam's not Freddie. Yeah. And nobody is.
No.
Adam's not trying to be Freddie. Adam's just trying to do justice to the songs. And I think he does a goddamn good job.
Yeah.
So
It's got to be
even
both.
admits I'm not here to replace Freddie. So
right, exactly.
Yeah, it's got to be both the greatest gig and the shittiest gig in the world is being the guy that came after the guy before, especially iconics like that. You know, Brian Johnson pulled it off, did a pretty good job with AC/DC. You know, yeah, and Adams good. And you know who's not bad, and I don't mind it. I've listened to the album a couple of times. Is the and I can't remember her name that has taken over for Linkin Park. She sounds pretty good. It would be interesting to hear her do a whole show. But yeah, but yeah, that's got to be, like I said, the greatest gig. Oh shit, I'm in AC/DC, or oh shit, I'm in Queen. But then, oh man, everybody hates me because I'm not Freddie Mercury and I'm not Bon Scott, et cetera, et cetera. So, and there you go.
It's kind of like that with Van Halen, right? David Lee Roth and then Sammy Hagar. Same thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, to that end, Joe, I feel sorry for you because you have to follow me. So here you go.
That's right. Exactly. You're not going to answer Chris's question. Did you see Chris's question?
Oh, no question. Freddie Mercury. I like Liam, but he's nothing compared to Freddie.
Sure. Yeah.
Not even close.
Okay, so I, unlike you guys, went with the same thing for all of my other instrument, and it was saxophone, and we missed one of my rounds, so I'll just do it quick. And it's David Sanborn, who's on a lot of albums, plays a lot of really good. Could play the jazz stuff, can play the rock stuff. Was on Letterman a lot. Did a lot of things with a lot, and actually had a show of his own, I think, for a little while, a bit of a variety show, kind of like a Jules Holland, where he'd be the host, and then there would be a bunch of different artists come through. So David Sanborn, and then we're going to end it off with the young man whose name I should remember, but I don't, so I'm going to look it up because it's Kirk Pengilly, and INXS, the saxophone player for INXS. I show Kick all the time. He really, really comes through on Kick a lot, but I just chose not to show Kick again. But just like the start of a lot of the songs on Kick, but a lot of INXS, it really was a big part of their sound was the saxophone player, which his name is Kirk Pengilly. I know Michael Hutchins, but that and I know the brothers, but yeah, I should know his name because again, he was a very integral sound, an integral part of INXS. And this is such a killer album, Shabu Shaba, with Don't Change and all the other good stuff that was on here. Yeah, there you go. For saxophone players, rock saxophone players, and again, for those that are watching and going, Joe, you have no idea what you're talking about as far as saxophone players because there's all those jazz players. I did not count the jazz players, although you could probably count David Sanborn a little bit as a saxophone jazz player. But anyway, there you go. Sax players.
Fully agree with David Sanborn.
yeah,
He did a song in the 90s, Beat Bang Bang, I think it was, or something like that. It was really cool. Really good stuff.
Too. Yeah, he was on a lot. He was kind of the go-to guy. Hey, I need a sax player for this song that I wrote. I don't normally have a sax guy. So quick honorable mention as well to Kenny Aronoff. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar. He was on a lot of John Cougar Mellencamp stuff, and then he was with Fogerty on tour a lot. He is a fantastic drummer as well. So I meant to mention him when we ended off with drummers. But yeah, Kenny Aronoff. And you talk about, a guy like Ringo in the pocket. Kenny would just beat the shit out of his drums each and every night and made him sound good. He was one of those guys. So just pound on him. And he was very good. I said was because when I saw him, he was very good. He's not dead. Was good when I saw him. Okay, I'm done.
There we go.
Hey, look at that. We're on time.
Look at that. We got 5 minutes to bring this thing home. That was a lot of fun. We'll do what we always do. We go around the horn. Richard, what's going on at the Tap House?
Not a whole lot. I'm still toying with an idea of doing something about albums I picked up this year that absolutely surprised me. Not necessarily new releases, because that's a totally different animal. And I have at least 4 or 5, so it's possible that could be a video. And just playing with ideas, and of course doing the endless variety of threads that pop up on the VC.
There you go. Daryl, what's going on up there with you?
Not much on my channel. I haven't put out a video in a little bit. I've been really busy here at home, Christmas and the weather, and just this week I was acting principal, so just been busy. I honestly don't have much on the go. I'd like to do a video about some of the Christmas albums I have, from my Care Bears Christmas one to my Very Merry Christmas with U2 and all that on it. So I'd like to show some of those.
Cool.
Other than that, I think come the new year, I mean, I think I talked about this last weekend. I'm going to do the Canadiana tag, I think is what I'm going to do. Still working on questions, but we know the vinyl tags are coming up, so got to get ready for that. Yeah.
Fair enough. Joe, what's going on at the store?
Store's good. Open this Saturday. Got a big sale on. Got a couple hundred new titles to go out, so it should be fun. Real quick, a very good multi-instrumentalist is young Wolfgang Van Halen. This is a fantastic album. I just listened to this today. This kid can play. He is not riding on Dad's coattails. I know we're done showing albums, but I saw it sitting over there, and we talked about guys that play a lot of different instruments. This is a really, really good album. This is the third one by Mammoth, so check that out. It's very good. And come into On a Vinyl and on AV Saturday from 11 to 2 if you happen to be in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. I'm not sure anybody will be, but you never know. Maybe somebody will. So,
all right, fair enough. I have nothing on the go. Business trip to Montreal tomorrow. Not sure if I'll make a video this weekend. Probably not. I haven't been doing a lot lately. So yeah, who knows? We'll see. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's all. We will be back next week with a different guest to talk about, I don't know, something else, which we'll probably figure out very last minute, as we often do. So I would like to thank Richard for joining us this week. Always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Richard. Always good to see you, man.
Indeed.
Yep.
And to everyone that watched in the comments this evening, thank you very much. We love chatting with you. It's kind of the highlight of the week for us. For folks that are going to watch us later, thanks for spending a couple hours with us. Daryl and Joe and I will be back next week. So until then, I hope everyone has a great night, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.